Hello, everybody, and welcome to the second session of the Gustavo Online Book Club for the month of January 2022. We are currently reading Dr. McDougall's book that is called McDougall's Medicine, a Challenging Second Opinion. So I see so many of you here, and it's always very exciting. This is a live webinar, so today is January 10th, and we're ready for another really cool, really nice session. I wanted to say a few words while we wait for everybody to log in. This online book club, it's almost 2 years old now. And basically, we get together once a week. I ask you to read a chapter or two in advance when you get the email. And I don't read the book to you because that would take weeks and weeks to get through a book. So you read the chapter or chapters, and then you can prepare to make comments or to ask questions. And I'm a guide. I highlight certain things that I think are important. Sometimes I have guests, like last Monday, which was our first session, and we had the privilege of having Dr. McDougall in the show. If you haven't seen that yet, you can see it in my YouTube channel. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, then shame on you. You need to subscribe. It also helps me to continue to produce these free videos. So please subscribe. My YouTube channel is under my name, Gustavo Tolosa. And make sure you subscribe and then you click the little bell. That way, when I upload a video, you will be notified. So that webinar from last Monday was with Dr. McDougall, and we talked mostly about cancer and also about a little bit about heart disease and about why it is important to always have at least a second opinion. If you're not getting my emails, make sure you look in your spam box, because these emails many times end up in spam or trash or promotions or things like that. Last night, we had a great time. I did a mini concert and followed by 3 recipes. One of them is a really good ranch dressing. Then we did fajitas and we did something else. So if you didn't get a chance to watch that, that is also in my YouTube channel, and you can watch it there. And if you have not joined Gustavo's fan club, which gives you access to Tea with Dr. T, that's how they call me at the university, the students, Dr. T. Every Tuesday we get together, we have a nice cup of tea or whatever you want to drink, and we just chat about positive things, and I share thoughts with you. So it's a nice time. And to join that, please email me and I'll send you the information. All right, so are we all ready to get started? So today I ask you to please read chapter 3, which is about osteoporosis. So if you have the book with you, if you don't have the book, send me an email. I'll send you the book for free. But if you have the book with you, I'm going to go to page 89 because it's a really good page. After reading all the pages in chapter 3, you get to page 89, and it is a 1-page summary of the whole chapter, and it's great. The sign of a brilliant mind is when someone can condense a lot of information in 1 or 2 pages, and that's why Dr. McDougall is a genius and a brilliant mind. He can do that. And let's see. just as a general comment, what did you get out of this chapter? Of this chapter number 3 about osteoporosis? And did you like it? Did you see any things that were controversial? Did you see anything that was confusing? I may be able to answer some questions, but I am not a medical doctor. I'm a doctor in music. I have worked together for a long time with Dr. McDougall and other doctors. I could have a doctor also as a guest if needed, and but I can answer some questions as long as you don't ask me to prescribe something for you. That can't not do. So what I wanted to mention in general, which is something that Dr. McDougall said last Monday, was that we human beings try to complicate things, and things are usually simpler and easier than we think. And so Dr. McDougall says that. I've heard him say that so many times. It's simple. It's the food. It's the food that in most cases, it's the problem, because we are living in a time of excesses. It's excessive everything, excessive calories, excessive fats, excessive protein, excessive cholesterol, excessive sugar, excessive salt. Everything is excessive. And that is not how it's been. This excessiveness, it's been for the last few years. You go back to the early 1900s and you could not get your hands on milk, let's say, as easily as today you would, and meat and many other things. So, but let's not get off the topic. So it's simple, and Dr. McDougall here does a great job, as usual, telling you that it's simple. Get rid of what is causing the problem. Get rid of what is causing the inflammation. Osteoporosis, like many other diseases, starts with inflammation. I think that is a word that we need to ingrain in our heads, because inflammation is a very scary word. It creates pain and it creates disease. What creates inflammation? Well, excessive animal products. Excessive. So Dr. McDougall says, get rid of them, and then you'll see the difference. And I have seen it firsthand, because I was lucky enough to attend and to be present at so many events in Santa Rosa when the events were in person. And I saw people getting better in just a few days. So one of you says, I missed or forgot the info regarding the book we will be discussing. Could you let me know if it must be an ebook? Yeah, the book is Dr. McDougall's Medicine and a Challenging Second Opinion, and it's an ebook that you could download for free from his website, but I believe it's not free anymore. That was until the end of December, but I have it. And I have been given permission to give it out. You would need to send me an email, and I will send it to you. So I am putting my email here, and anyone who wants it can email me. All right, so let's go to that page I mentioned, page 89, and I'm going to try to share my screen so that if you don't have it with you, you can see it. And there it is. Let's see. Yeah, I see it there. All right. So how do you prevent and even reverse or stop osteoporosis? Well, number one is to adopt a low protein diet. It is essential. It is absolutely essential to prevent and treat osteoporosis. A low protein, especially animal protein. And again, this is one of those excessive things that the SAD diet, the standard American diet, which is not only American anymore, it's all over the world, and promotes high protein. So he explains why protein, basically, I'm going to say it in regular people's language, it makes you pee your bones. Okay, it creates all sorts of imbalances. So a low protein diet, we all need very tiny amounts of protein. Just because it's good, it doesn't mean that you can have as much as you want, because it taxes our internal organs a lot to be able to get rid of that excessive protein. Then he says a low protein diet is centered around a variety of starchy foods with the addition of fresh or frozen fruits and vegetables. Remember that Dr. McDougall always talks about a starch-based diet. Clean starch, not just processed carbohydrates. No, no, no. This is plain, clean, whole starches. Limit, he says, if you have osteoporosis, limit or avoid entirely high protein starchy foods, which are beans, peas, and lentils. Unless contraindicated for other reasons, you may use empty calorie simple sugars in limited amounts. Contraindications would be sensitivity to sugar with resulting high triglyceride levels or hypoglycemia. All animal products should be excluded initially. Okay, so make sure that at the beginning you don't just decrease, but that you, for at least 2 or 3 weeks, you exclude totally animal products. With improvement of osteoporosis, or in healthy individuals, about 1 cup on the average of bean, peas, and lentils can be used daily, and high protein animal products can be consumed on festive occasions like turkey for Thanksgiving. That is like maybe one time a year. Of course, we who follow a whole food plant-based diet say it's just better to eliminate it and not have that constant little idea of, oh, I can have some, because we know where I can have some can lead to for some people. So he's saying that you should exclude animal products, and as your osteoporosis improves, or if you're a healthy individual, then 1 cup on average, 1 cup of beans, peas, or lentils daily is fine. What else can improve osteoporosis? Moderately daily physical activity. And let's underline moderately, because high daily physical activity can actually be detrimental. But we'll go back and see why. You need to avoid caffeinated beverages, alcoholic beverages, and smoking tobacco. Estrogens should not be taken routinely by women as they pass through menopause. However, women who are unable to adopt a low protein diet and daily physical activity must weigh the risks of taking estrogens with the probably benefits. Every time that you take something that is not whole food, that is plant, that is natural, you have to weigh and then the decision is yours. You have to weigh the benefits and the risks. Estrogens should be taken by women who lose their ovarian function prematurely if there are no other contraindications. So there are some estrogen vaginal creams, may be a small compromise acceptable to women wanting to remain sexually active after menopause. The addition of 500 to 1,000 milligrams of an uncontaminated calcium supplement to the above will do no harm, but probably no good for anyone able to lower their dietary protein intake to a sensible level. Those unable to give up the high protein foods will gain a slight benefit from the addition of calcium in the form of a daily supplement to their diet. Dairy products should never be considered as the calcium supplement because of associated health hazards. And now I want to show you here, because we're talking about a walking medical encyclopedia. That's how I describe Dr. McDougall. He can name studies like right off the top of the head, even to the page number. And I want to show you that all that he talks about in this chapter is referenced, and the references are numerous. And these are some of the things that are available to you with a little bit of Google search, and you can print some of these. And if your doctor is open-minded, you could even share them. These are journals like the Journal of American Medical Association. These are British Medical Journal, the Journal Science. Anyway, all very well-known medical journals, and look at all of them here. It is truly unbelievable. He's not just saying things. Every time he says something, he backs it up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 studies that you can go and read in detail if you're interested. So I'm going to unshare now and see if we have any comments. Catherine, it says 1 cup of beans, peas, and lentils daily. So that would be a couple of tablespoons throughout the day. Yeah. If you're a healthy person and you have no problems with anything, you can definitely eat 1 cup, sometimes a little more if it's not every day, of peas and beans and lentils. We could ask this, and I'm going to make a note to Dr. McDougall so that he could clarify if he has changed the recommendation. Dr. McDougall says that humans need very little protein, as low as 5% of calories. That's correct. That is totally correct. Of the whole caloric intake that you have every day, only 5 to 10% of those calories should come from protein. I think that equates to as low as 50 grams per day or even less. Correct. Yes. I'm surprised to see that beans, lentils, and peas should be avoided. It shouldn't be. Well, they are high in protein, and if you go back in the chapter, I'm going to try to go back now, you will see the problems with proteins, although most of the problems that Dr. McDougall mentions are animal proteins. But I will ask him this question in case that he has something different to say. How low is low protein? Well, yeah. So it's about 10% of your caloric intake. So if one has osteopenia, we should not eat beans. Well, that is a good question. So I am writing it down. Um, I think that in many cases here, we have to, I always say this, we have to go case by case because sometimes um, saying a recommendation for everybody, it's unfair. It depends how on what stage you are in your osteoporosis, whether you're following a entirely whole food plant-based diet, if you're on some medication. I think that it's a little more complex than just saying should I avoid it or not. It depends case by case. But I will contact Dr. McDougall and I will ask him this question so that next Monday I can have an answer. Or if he's willing to be on the show again, we can have him back. Um, okay, I will definitely get the answer. Remember that we have in the starch solution, which is what Dr. McDougall recommends, we have we have such a large variety of starches from many different kinds of potatoes and sweet potatoes, corn, different kinds of rice and grains, um, pasta that is whole wheat. We have so much variety. When you add to that all of the other green, yellow, red, orange vegetables and all the fruits, that I know people who can't eat beans because they're allergic, let's say, beans and uh, lentils. They are allergic. So is that a problem? No, because there's so much that you can eat other than beans, peas, and lentils. But like I said, I will make sure that I answer that. Let's see what else. All right. So let's go back to our book here and I will share my screen again. So I like this page, which is page 88, where Dr. McDougall says osteoporosis is not an inevitable part of growing older, but is rather a degenerative disease resulting from improper care of your body during your younger and middle years. Now that you know a better set of rules to live by, your efforts can be directed towards preventing osteoporosis by eating a proper diet and choosing to follow a healthful lifestyle. Until the dangers from eating excess amounts of animal protein is recognized, when we plan our personal diets ourselves, and when national health policies are established by our guardian authorities, osteoporosis will continue to be a major disease of epidemic proportions for postmenopausal women in affluent societies. All right. Um, then he talks a little bit about a test that you can do that is affordable, and it's called a photon absorptiometry bone scanner, which you could do every 6 months and may give you valuable information on your progress. However, the most important information you can look for is fewer new fractures. And since treatment using a healthier diet and a little exercise is without cost or danger, there's no reason to delay. Here's something to highlight also on page 87. And very strenuous exercise, not just a moderate daily exercise, but really strenuous, reduces the ovaries' production of estrogens in some athletic women. This is often seen with long distance runners. A decrease in menstrual function is especially common when the calorie intake of the diet is also inadequate. Menstrual periods stop or become irregular, and there is some evidence that these women are more likely to develop exercise-related fractures. What else here? Here's a question that says, I've heard that some doctors are giving another kind of hormone that comes from fish to treat osteoporosis. Does this work? And this is something that is derived from salmon and inhibits bone loss without the serious adverse effects of estrogens. However, calcitonin must be given daily as an injection. So listen to this. It's an injection and it has to be given daily. And local and generalized allergic reactions have been reported. This approach is experimental and results from the studies performed so far, and they're somewhat conflicting. The claim that calcitonin can prevent bone loss in patients with postmenopausal osteoporosis appears to be based on a single, just one controlled study. This drug acts by slowing down breakdown similar to the effect of estrogens, and therefore cannot be expected to rebuild lost bone. And the therapy is given over a period of 2 years or longer, making it very impractical for most people. Can you imagine 2 or more years getting an injection every day? I don't think I would do it. I would really consider switching entirely to a whole food, plant-based, starch-centered diet. So correcting the negative calcium balance is one of the major goals of all therapies for osteoporosis, including diet therapy. Many studies have shown that a positive calcium balance is easily achieved when the dietary protein level is decreased. This is a very important page here, page 86. A lot of people go through the days of the weeks and the months and the years having a negative calcium balance, meaning that more calcium is going out of your body than going in. So how do you achieve positive calcium balance? Well, when you decrease the amount of protein intake to about 50 grams a day, even on lowest calcium index. Okay, that's on page 86, and I think that is a very important piece of information. So I'm going back here and let's see if I see anything else. It is very important. One of you says it here. It's very important that we all understand and know. I don't have it today, but I probably will bring it next time. Let's see, my protein slides. Everything that we eat from the plant-based kingdom, everything has protein. So it is nearly impossible. Dr. McDougall says this all the time. It is impossible to be protein deficient unless you don't eat anything for days in a row, or unless you're in a society in some part of the world that just don't have enough food. And so if you don't have enough calories, you will be protein deficient. But it's extremely rare in our Western societies. Astounding to learn that body fat converts male hormones. Yes. All right, very good. I think we are learning a lot, and I'm glad that we're reading this chapter. So, will exercise help prevent osteoporosis? Well, it's another very important factor in keeping your bones strong People who are confined for a long time to bed because of illness or injury lose substantial amounts of bone. So moderate exercise is important. So look at this. This is page 84, and it says starchy foods, most vegetables, and almost all fruits have protein contents. This is what we were talking about, that are the most sensible for humans to eat. Important exceptions to this general rule are beans, peas, and lentils, which are starchy foods high in protein. They should be restricted to 1 cup per day or less on the average for people without bone disease, and should be eliminated entirely from the diet of someone with osteoporosis who is attempting to make large improvements in their calcium balance. So some of you were asking this question. What I would suggest is to have a test of your calcium, how much calcium you have, and then try eliminating beans, peas, and lentils for 2 or 3 weeks, and then having it tested again and see if that made a difference. If it did, then that should give you a clue as to how to continue. Remember that there are hundreds, actually thousands, of really delicious and simple recipes that you can make which don't have beans and peas and lentils. I mean, in my case, sometimes 2 or 3 weeks go by and I'm not trying to not eat them, but there's so many other things that I like that I sometimes go by long periods of time without beans or peas or lentils. So it is possible. It's very possible. All right, let's see what else we have here. Here we are. This is page 83, and I want you to see this, where he says, actually, considerably more than 50 grams of proteins from vegetable sources can be eaten daily while still keeping most people in a positive calcium. I've heard that I can take another pill in place of estrogen for 1 week in the month in order to prevent cancer of the uterus. Is this right? The female hormone progesterone is commonly prescribed along with estrogen because of preliminary evidence that this combination will reduce the high risk of cancer of the body of the uterus. However, not enough studies have been done to assure physicians that the cancer-causing effects of estrogens are eliminated with the addition of progesterone. Sequential birth control pills, which contain this hormone, have not prevented the development of uterine cancer in young women. Let me see if I can find, very important. Are you trying to tell me that all postmenopausal women should be taking this hormone? No. The present trend among physicians to prescribe estrogens is causing millions of women numerous health problems. 79, page 79. Taking dairy products in order to obtain the additional calcium invites some serious risks to health. 3 classes of components in cow's milk provide calories: fats, proteins, and carbohydrates. Each of these is associated with known health hazards. So just know that cow's milk, which by the way was meant for cows, have these 3 things: fats, proteins, and carbohydrates, and each one of those have health hazards. The fats are believed to be involved in the cause of heart attacks, cancer, and obesity. The protein can cause food allergies, mineral imbalance, and possibly kidney damage. And lactose, the major carbohydrate in milk, can cause a number of digestive problems in many people. Dairy products are deficient for human needs in iron, fiber, as well as essential fatty acids, vitamin B1, and vitamin C. Also, dairy products are too often are highly contaminated with chemicals from the environment, bacteria, and viruses. In the United States, more than 20%, more than 20% of the dairy cows are infected with leukemia viruses. You yourself can search and find out this information, which is true. When these viruses are fed to chimpanzees, the experimental animals have developed leukemia. Very good. I will be reading your comments and questions in detail later on, and passing on some of your questions to Dr. McDougall himself, and hopefully I will answer all your questions next Monday. And like I said, or he himself may be able to join us. Either way, we will get answers. Let's move on a little bit more and then we will finish, because I always try to keep the session to about 45 minutes or less. And if any of you want to point out something that you learned here that really caught your attention, please feel free to do that, because this is meant to be an interactive time that we spend together. Note in particular that a calcium intake in two of the studies of 1,400 milligrams daily, which is consistent with the most recent recommendations by the National Institutes of Health, did little to resolve the negative balance caused by such a high protein level, as is consumed by many people in affluent countries. On very high protein intakes of 225 grams a day, it has been estimated that adults will lose 4% of their skeleton per year. That is a lot of skeleton to lose per year, even while you're taking 1,400 milligrams of calcium a day. Although a diet providing 225 grams of protein per day offers more than most people would eat, even in affluent countries, many individuals do exceed this level. Oh, definitely, it is easy to go over that. You can fill yourself up on rice and potatoes and still stay in a safe range of protein intake without the pangs of hunger. In terms of familiar foods, 50 grams of proteins could mean portions like any one of the following. So 50 grams of protein could be 6 ounces of chicken without skin, 7 ounces of broiled cod, or 1 2/3 cups of low-fat cottage cheese. But in contrast, from vegetable sources, 50 grams of proteins could be equivalent to 25 medium boiled potatoes or 11 cups of cooked rice. I don't think most people can eat that even throughout the day. So you can see the immense difference between sources of protein from vegetable sources or from animals. It makes a big difference. Make sure that you look at the charts, because these charts are very good. So on page 73, it says, what happens to those excess proteins if they're not stored? Um, well, if you eat excess protein, it says many people who have tried high protein diets in order to lose weight have experienced the diuretic effect of urea. They lose almost 8 pounds of water, not fat, water weight during the first week. So you will be like, whoa, wow, in 1 week I lost 8 pounds, yes, of water. When urea and amino acids enter the kidneys on the way to elimination in urine, they cause not only the loss of excess water, so you're not just losing water, but also the excretion of large amounts of minerals. And of course, one of those minerals is calcium. One of the most important minerals lost in that way is calcium. The more proteins that are consumed, the greater is the loss of calcium. So remember that this like a I want to say comparison, but that's not the word. The more protein that is consumed, the more calcium that is lost in the urine. An adult needs no more than 20 grams of protein a day. Okay? That's all that an adult person needs. 20 grams of proteins a day, or about 2/3 of an ounce. These proteins are needed to grow hair, replace skin, produce hormones, form tissue cells, and for many other uses. Most Americans, though, look at this number. These numbers are actually higher now than they were at the time of the book. Instead of 20 grams a day, most American consumes 105 to 120, so 6 times more proteins per day. What happens to those 100 grams of proteins that are extra? Well, excess calories from fats and carbohydrates are stored in the form of body fats, but there is no such storage system for proteins. And this is crucial for us to understand that fats and carbohydrates can be stored and then can be, they can be spent, they can be burned, but protein cannot be stored. There's no system for storing proteins in our bodies. If we did store proteins, they would pile up in our muscles, and after years of gorging on high protein diets, most of us would resemble bodybuilders like Arnold Schwarzenegger and the Hulk. The idea that if a little protein is good, then more is better is a common fallacy. The beef industry recently launched a big advertising promotion to tell us that beef gives strength, taking advantage of the widely accepted myth that high protein beef is a bodybuilding food. All right, everybody. We have covered the essential in this chapter. If you have any other questions that you want me to ask, please type them here because I have access to this chat, or send me an email with your question or questions, and I will do my best to get you the answers. What I get out of this is to be careful with excessive protein, especially animal protein, which I don't consume. Remember this fact that protein cannot be stored. So your kidneys and other organs in your body have to work extra hard. And if this happens over extended periods of time, those organs get damaged. But besides that, to get rid of the excess protein, the only way out is through the urine. So you're losing a lot of water, but it's not just water. is water with a lot of minerals, and one of those minerals is calcium. So you clean your bones through the urine and they're going down the toilet. So let's be mindful of protein. I believe most of you here follow a plant-based diet, but if not, really do this experiment of excluding anything that is animal protein from your diet for 2 or 3 weeks and seeing the difference. All right. In my YouTube channel, you can find all of the other book clubs. They are all just outstanding. So make sure you visit. It's free. There is a folder there. There are different folders. I have playlists. That's what they're called. And you can find all the previous book clubs, and I think you will enjoy it. Also, you will find a lot of recipes that I have filmed, and you will find them in my Facebook page, which is called Dr. Starch, all spelled out. You will also find it in my website, which is called plantemas.com. And I just want you to take advantage of all these resources because it can really help. All right. Well, thank you very much. And if any of you, because every now and then I get people who ask me, and so that is why I put it here, not because I'm requiring it. But here's a link. Some of you ask me sometimes if you can make a contribution for my business and my programs. So here's a link. If you ever feel like it, I'll be thankful for anything. But I do this for free, and I'm always hopeful that I can help you. So I will see you next Monday. And next Monday, we will be talking about chapter 4. So make sure that you read that, you highlight it, and that you bring your wonderful comments and questions to this book club. Goodbye, everyone. Have a wonderful week. Bye-bye.